Hey Crosswatchers, for Aquarius, welcome to your September cross-watching video. We're going to connect here and see what is coming up in the month ahead in September. Guys, please remember these are done with the intention of bringing about helping energy, clearing energy, healing energy. None of this is to spy. None of this is to be disrespectful. So it's done with the intention of bringing about positive circumstances for everyone involved. So we're going to go ahead and connect here and see what's coming up for those of you cross-watching about Aquarius in your life that you may be curious about. If you're an Aquarius and you're watching, guys, please keep in mind this is for the cross-watcher. So maybe perhaps if this doesn't apply to you, maybe your person's not on your channel watching, or on this channel, or maybe they don't do the tarot video thing, but we're going to see what is coming up ahead for our lovely cross-watchers who are watching for Aquarius. So we're going to lay down 5 cards and see what is coming up. So you have 2 of Wands, okay? 2 of Wands, usually when it comes up in a reading, to me it's telling me a decision needs to be made, and these 2 things need to be considered very carefully. It's a big decision, okay? It's a very big decision, and one has to weigh the consequences of both. So keep in mind these are general, okay? I may have 1,000 people that watch. I may have 40,000 people that watch. So the circumstances are going to be different for different ones of you. Some of you may be in a situation where your Aquarius is trying to decide if they're ready for a relationship or not, or they may be trying to pick between 2 people, or they may have a really big choice or decision to make in terms of career or life path kind of stuff. But I feel it's pretty safe to say whatever is happening in September, at least maybe for the beginning of the month or early on in the month, you know, you're dealing with someone who their mind might be very occupied. They may have a lot on their mind, and they may have a lot that they have to consider and a lot that they have to think about. I see 2 of Wands also sometimes come up for people who are at a really significant crossroads in terms of figuring themselves out, like, you know, who they are, what they want, things of that nature. Again, these are going to be general readings, so it's going to be different for different ones of you. I am getting a sense or a feeling of relocation, however, so some of you may be dealing with someone who's trying to figure out where they want to live or where they want to be, okay? If you've been in a long distance connection with an Aquarius, they may be seriously thinking about taking the next step, and they may be thinking about what is going to be the best scenario. Is it best for you to go to them? Is it best for them to come to you? Is it best for you together to start off somewhere completely different, like both of you go somewhere and get resituated somewhere new? So big decisions, and I do feel it has to do, for the majority of you, not so much picking between 2 people, but more so really big life decisions in terms of getting settled, getting established, you know, getting rooted in their life. For some of you, you may be the reason of this thought process. You know, it may be kind of interacting with you or getting involved with you, like it kind of made them realize, oh, okay, like, you know, maybe I am ready for something stable, or maybe I want something stable, but I'm not necessarily ready for it. What do I need to do? Do I want to do this now? If so, what do I need to move forward? So lots of big decision kind of energy. That's how it feels to me, okay? That's how it feels to me, the energy of this card for you guys in September, those of you cross-watching for an Aquarius. Next here we have Queen of Pentacles. And so this is very much, to me, a card that indicates a sense of home, okay? I know some people, they get very caught up on the astrology of the cards. I don't like to do that, simply because it can become more confusing than anything else, you know? You don't necessarily know always what is in somebody's moon, or what is in somebody's rising, or where their Venus is. You don't necessarily know those things about a person. Some of you do. Some of you have done all the research. You've got it all figured out, but not everybody knows that. So I don't like to throw around signs too much in a reading because it can confuse and it can complicate things. But for me, the Queen of Pentacles is very much a card about home, very much a card about getting comfortable, getting stabilized, getting situated in your life. The Queen of Pentacles can signify an actual person, like a literal person who could have a lot of earth sign energy. Like I said, I don't like to get too caught up in the astrology because you don't know what somebody's moon or rising may be, right? But she's usually somebody who's very independent, very established, and likes to have a comfortable home. She likes to have nice things around her, not materialistic. I want to clarify that. It's not out of a love of money. It's out of a love of comfort, like wanting to live a comfortable life, wanting to have comfortable things, wanting to have a sense of sanctuary. This would be like somewhere where you would just really love to go and hang out and get comfortable and again, sense of sanctuary, relaxing space, good food, music, sensual relationships, things of that nature, very much in the physical realm. And Aquarius is an air sign. Aquariuses don't necessarily like to spend a whole lot of time in their emotions. They're very logical, they're very philosophical, they're very much like, for me anyway, like they're like the crystal loving, hippie type, right? But more of like just the mental cosmic philosophy thinking kind of angle of things. Doesn't mean they're heartless, obviously, but they're more into that realm. And if they're coming into a relationship where they're really starting to think about, oh, okay, wow, maybe I do want to have an emotionally intimate relationship with a person. But probably the way through this is going to be getting them grounded into the physical realm. Keep in mind, like I said, in the beginning of the month, they're showing up like this, where they're contemplating. They have a lot on their mind. Aquarius already is a sign that's constantly in their head anyway, in that thought realm, just as an air sign. And so now they have a big decision that they're making, and what's going to help them with that decision is grounding themselves in spending time in their body, not being lost in the realm of thought, in the realm of daydreaming, in the realm of like contemplating, but to be present in the physical moment. So for some of you, this can be one way in which you can be closer to your Aquarius. If you're doing something where you're like, what are you thinking about? What do you think? Well, you seem distant. You seem like your mind's somewhere else. That's not gonna help in this situation. Like if you're wanting them to be closer to you or to open up to you, if you want to do anything that's going to be helpful, it's bringing them into the physical realm. So like having a good meal together, spending time doing something together where you guys can be present, where you can be in the moment, where you can be engaged in some way, or maybe like a physical activity, like going for a walk or bowling or something. I don't know, just something where you're like in the body. Because for me, Queen of Pentacles is very much just enjoying the benefits of having, being in the physical realm, whatever that might be. And for some of you, it's a very basic thing. I don't mean to be vulgar, but it could just be just as basic as, just good food, good sex, and good sleep. That might be all they're really looking for. And it doesn't mean that they don't care. It just means that they're in a realm right now where they're very much in that thought process, right? They're very much like they need to be in that physical so that they can connect, right? They might be really wandering far off mentally in the month because of decisions, and anything that you do to try to get them opening up, it's gonna be best just like to establish that connection and let them open up as they want to open up or talk about what they're thinking about. But if you're trying to get it in a place of like analyzing it and discussing it and picking it apart, Queen of Pentacles is saying you're better off just kind of being present there in that moment and letting that person enjoy that moment. And in whatever you're comfortable doing, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do anything you're not ready to do. And it doesn't mean that you have to go spend a ton of money to like cook them some elaborate dinner. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go into the energy of jumping through hoops for somebody. But it just means that the simple things that you can do, what is in your ability that you don't have to bend over backwards to make happen. But just being in that physical realm, it's going to bring more of a connection than trying to analyze and trying to, force conversation and things of that nature. Next, we have the Hermit mode. So already, this is really letting us know that this person is very, very, very much detached right now and trying to make some big decisions. They may be spending less time around people in general. It might not just be you. It just people in general. Because when the Hermit mode comes up, this is a time when somebody's like reinventing themselves, or they're figuring out who they are, what they believe, what they want, what they're looking for. Aquarius in general tend to want to have their space anyway. But on top of that, with the Hermit card, it's like they're very much in the mindset of trying to figure out where they're going, what they're doing, what they want, who they are, what they believe. And so in my experience, the Hermit phase is something that's going to last a few months, right? So either they've already been going through this for a while, and this card is saying they're going to go through it for a little bit while longer, or if they're just on this journey, it may be a little while that you notice that they're being this way. It's not a negative thing. It's not a negative aspect by any means. It's them like working on self-improvement. So you're probably dealing with an Aquarius who's really much in this mindset of self-improvement right now. How can I do better? How can I be better? And the Hermit card is, again, I don't like to get too hung up on the astrology, but the Hermit card is a card that's associated with the Virgo. And so they may have strong Virgo elements within them. They may have Virgo elements that they're dealing with. And Virgo can be very, very much a perfectionist, like to a fault sometimes, to where it complicates life, or they're being too critical of themselves, or they're expecting too much of themselves, or they're too concerned on what's wrong instead of what's right. And so some of you are dealing with an Aquarius that's dealing with that, and Spirit is trying to help them connect and understand the concept of acceptance, and that nothing is perfect. Nothing is perfect. Nobody's perfect, right? So there's this whole kind of realization process that they're needing to go through. Some of you are dealing with someone who is going to be feeling distant. I'm not going to lie to you. You're dealing with somebody who's going to feel a little detached and a little distant. Hence the thing with Queen of Pentacles about like being in the physical realm, being in the physical body. If you are in a relationship already with this person, then that is something that you can do, is do things that you feel are going to help them to be physically comfortable without you making yourself physically uncomfortable or emotionally uncomfortable, right? Don't put yourself out in the process. But really, 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 like, this is going to be what's going to be most beneficial for them, because Hermit card, Two of Wands, they're in a lot of mental energy right now. A lot of big decisions. Next we have here Six of Pentacles. So a lot of the concerns can be in terms of finances. A lot of their worries can be in terms of finances, because Six of Pentacles, it's a positive card. It's really the ideal situation. It's like the perfect thing that we all kind of dream about, to be in the financial situation where there's no debt, all debts are paid off, there's enough money set aside for the future. Well, I'm not going to say enough for the future, but like you have enough that you're able to continually set aside for the future, right? I'm not saying you're just immediately set to retire, but like that's on track and you're able to put money away. And you also have money that you can go and do things without worrying, without having to check your account. You don't have to check your account to say, oh, can I go out and have dinners with friends tonight? Oh, can I buy those shoes? Oh, do I have enough to pay that bill? Or like whatever. You don't worry. Like you have what you need. You have money also set aside in the savings. There's no debt. And then you have enough money to where in the appropriate time, in the appropriate situation, you can be generous. You can donate to charity or help out a friend or help out a family member and not worry about it, right? The thing with Six of Pentacles, it's been coming up a lot in a lot of the readings I've been doing lately. It's been coming up in a lot of the general readings that are on the YouTube channel. It's been coming up in a lot of the personal readings for a lot of you that have booked private readings with me. It's come up for a lot of you in your readings. So collectively in the energy, I feel like something is going on right now. I feel like a lot of people in this stage of awakening and what's going on in like the planetary energies, that a lot of people are just coming into the energy of coming out of a life of lack, right? Like they're coming out of that suffering or the belief of like, you know, they're never going to be able to climb out of it, or they're never going to be able to have a good life. They're coming out of that. They're coming out of that. And it's because a lot of people who are in that situation where they feel very buried or they feel like they're struggling, it's because their whole life, if they go back, if they think about it, their whole life, it's been a way of like trying to make other people happy, or really like trying to earn their keep from a young age, like trying to prove that, you know, they're not in anybody's way, and like, you know, they're not bothering anybody, and they're being helpful, and they're being productive. So they come into this energy of just like giving, 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 giving. And it's good to give, but it becomes a block after a while if you don't know how to receive. And so you'll end up in relationships with people where you just kind of like give a ton and not get anything back. And a lot of people are breaking those cycles, right? They're breaking that cycle in their relationships. They're breaking that cycle in their finances. And so I feel like your Aquarius, this is a lot of things they're figuring out right now. And I'm not trying to say this like to be judgmental or mean, because keep in mind, this is a general reading, so it's going to be different for different ones of you. So especially if you're an Aquarius watching, please don't get offended. You know, it might not apply to you. But I feel because of these cards coming in together with that Two of Wands and the Hermit card and the Queen of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles, all these cards coming together, it gives me a sense or a feeling that some of you all are dealing with an Aquarius who comes off as a little bit selfish, who comes off as a little bit maybe tight-fisted sometimes. And they're figuring out how to relax and not be that way. And they're figuring out why they became that way. Why did they become so closed off? Why did they not want to let their feelings get involved? Why do they feel like, you know, they don't want to give to other people? And the answer to that is probably going to be because somewhere along the line they did that and they got burned or they got hurt, right? That's really what happens. People get hurt and they close up, they close off. So I feel some of you are dealing with an Aquarius that's like kind of having that awakening and figuring out how to have the balance, because Six of Pentacles is about that balance, right? He's not giving, he's being very generous. Look at the card, he's being very generous, and there's these hands that are like, you know, holding out to him. But he's being, first of all, it looks like to me he's being selective who he's giving what to and how much, right? There's the scale here. So he's weighing it out, he's balancing it. And so, you know, figuring out how to give in a way where what you're giving is not going to put you in a bad situation or put you in a situation of lack, right? Or, you know, being in that energy of, again, balance, giving in a balanced way. I feel your Aquarius is trying to figure that out. You know, how much opening up is good for me, how much giving is good for me, how much of my feelings getting involved is good for me. They're trying to find that balance. That's what it feels like to me. Your next card here is King of Cups, and this just confirmed it for me in a nutshell. This completely and totally for me just wrapped everything up. King of Cups for me in a reading, sometimes it can signify like husband, father type energy, like a husband or a father, like very, very stable family life, very stable home life. So some of you are dealing with an Aquarius who's contemplating these things, who's thinking about having that kind of like stable home life, stable, maybe even becoming a parent, or, you know, parenting children together. But the thing about King of Cups, and keep in mind, this is just a masculine energy, but we all have masculine and feminine energies. You know, whatever you identify as, we all have masculine and feminine energies. But this is more connecting with the masculine energy. King of Cups is a masculine energy. But the lesson here with King of Cups overall, just overall in a nutshell, is, you know, this is somebody who has come into abundance. This is somebody who is comfortable with their emotions, and they're in control of their emotions. They don't let their emotions get the best of them. And they're very generous, but they're cautious who they're generous with. You know, they're not going to, you know, be made a fool of. They're going to be able to look at a situation and figure out who really needs help, who really doesn't need help, what's appropriate to give. And sometimes too, with the King of Cups energy, it's kind of like, you know, I kind of think of it as like the stern parent. Like, okay, you know, you can have the keys to the car Friday night, but you need to do this list of chores before then, and you need to you know, have the tank, you're gonna have to get your own gas or whatever. Like, just something where they're learning responsibility, or something where they're doing something in return. Sometimes King of Cups has like that feeling for me, like, you know, I will give, but like, you need to keep your end of your responsibilities. It can have that kind of thing. And I'm not going to say it comes with a cost, because to me that sounds negative. And to me it sounds like somebody else is making a profit. And I don't feel King of Cups is about making a profit. I just feel it's about the balance and the fairness, and, you know, something that's also good for you. It's a mutually beneficial type of thing. So, you know, I feel like this Aquarius may be looking at their connection or relationship with you and trying to figure out, you know, is this someone who's in my life for the right reason? Is this somebody who's using me? Is this somebody who's just here until they find something better? So I feel like they're weighing all these things out, and they're trying to figure it out. And then they're going to find ways in which they can start opening up that feels safe for them or feels secure for them. But again, all of these energies together, like kind of coming together, it makes me feel that this is someone that didn't anticipate or didn't expect to be making these decisions at this time. It makes me feel like kind of, you know, they weren't looking for, you know, getting settled. They were still very much on their adventures and doing their things, and then things started happening in life. And it could be in more than one area, maybe not just in relationship or love, but it was like, okay, now it's time to figure out like where you're gonna settle down, like where you're gonna put your roots down. And they're really trying to figure all of that out, and they want to make sure they're making the right decision with the right people, you know. So that's the feeling that I'm getting. You may want to watch the love readings for September. Those are already up. Those are already ready. And I will have a link in the description of the video for those. Those of you who are very much like me and you're obsessed with all the different cards, and you know that I use different cards all the time, I have a Amazon affiliate link in the description where you can go check out the deck if you want to get this deck for yourself. The artwork is beautiful. I love these cards. But you can check that out as well. And guys, please don't forget to watch your weekly forecasts. I mean, once a month I'll do the love readings. Once a month I'll do the Crosswatcher. But people get so caught up in their love life sometimes that they forget completely and totally that we're made up of so many other parts, and there's so many other things in life to enjoy and to achieve. So check out the weekly forecasts for your zodiac sign. I do them every single week, and I try to keep love separate and out of them, and I try to just focus on you, your journey, your spirituality, your awakening, your abundance, your interpersonal relationships, all of the wonderful stuff. So I know we're all focused on love, or there's people that we're concerned about, but don't forget about yourself and watch the readings for yourself every single week. The ones that are up now are through the end of August, and then in a couple of days you'll see the ones up for the first week of September. So check those out as well. Those are on the channel. You just hit videos and it will have the list of all the videos, and you can go to the weekly forecast. So I thank you guys so much for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and I'm wishing you the very best.